Okay, hello everyone. February the 21st today. Another big solar flare, 8 hours before the Venus-Mars conjunction tomorrow. There's a scent of new beginnings, of rebirth really in the air that came to me today. Yes, tomorrow the Venus-Mars conjunction starting a whole new cycle, and then we have the big one, which is Jupiter and Saturn meeting in heliocentric on March the 14th. Geocentric it will be a few weeks later on April the 21st, when Jupiter and Uranus will have their rebirth cycle in the sign of Taurus, which is all about the physical manifestation of the Uranian principle, expanding and multiplying and really exploding almost, one could say. It will be very, very intense, very dramatic. But it is a rebirth which we are experiencing with all the pains which are coming with that naturally. Today a big solar flare, as I say, X1.8, just a couple hours prior here or so. And it was sunspot 3590, which just turned into the Earth-facing side of the sun. You have to think the Earth slowly rotates over 14 days. Every spot on the sun is moving from left to right, Earth facing. So over the next 10 days or so, 3590 will be geoactive, will be fully facing Earth, so there could be many more strong flares coming from here through the next days. And as you know, we are in the core column of the Mayan calendar, so it is this intensity which we all are feeling. It is definitely not an easy time to live through, but it has enormous potentials in terms of reorientation, coming to a clear center point and regrounding in that power which comes from below, from Earth, and from above, from the sky, to really connect this lightning rod. And that is exactly the energy which this year started on. If we go to the Mayan calendar here for a moment, yes, this was the spike today. You see, this is the same magnitude pretty much of what we had here on the 16th of February, the last X-class flare. You can go back to my earlier recording, I talk about that. These are always random injections of solar energy, of powering up the whole system. They are always, as we can see, at very precise moments in time where there is a very targeted impact, as we will see as we go into the astrological chart of that moment. But before that, I just really want to throw this in. The year 2020 started on 8 Ben, that was January the 1st, the red galactic skywalker, which is all about that vertical power. Ben, the pillars of light, as it says, the pillars of light are also symbolized by the corn plant in the Mayan culture, with that very strong stalk which holds against all kinds of impact, wind even, which stands very strong. This is the base energy. And again, you see the number 8, which is synchronistic, is really the word. Coincidence is really not cutting it here. It's synchronistic with the year 2024 naturally vibrating on an 8 frequency, so that 8 comes in on all levels. Interesting that we also were having an 8th day in the Mayan calendar just recently on the on February the 9th, when the wood dragon was born. That was 8 FEB, a portal day. Then I keep going here. 8 days later, 13 days later, on the 22nd of February, today as we speak, yes, it's an hour shy, the 22nd will be another 8. This is the Venus-Mars conjunction on 8 Chikchan, actually, on the celestial snake, the galactic one. And then 13 days from here, on March the 7th, on another 8, that will be 8 Etsnab by then, that will be the white galactic mirror, is another really powerful day, which is when the sun exactly lines up with the lunar orbit as it is presently. That means with the black moon, which is the farthest point in the moon's orbit around Earth. So this is a powerful point of collective shadow energy. So that is what is happening in that galactic mirror day. Then this will be a kind of like a big curtain being pulled open for many people, a sudden insight into, yes, the darkness of what this world really is deeply entrenched in. That is then coming really probably quite dramatically into many people's consciousness. Yes, it is a starting point, as all these alignments are. They are nodal points in time, and they give birth to a manifestation of a new energy naturally. And then 13 days later, you won't believe, another 8. This will be spring equinox. That will be the galactic monkey. Now, the number 8, the galactic number, I show you this here on my phone. Actually, this is the app I'm using. It's called Dream Spell Calendar. You can find it on the Google Play Store. Dream Spell Calendar. And it's really a great program which allows you to follow the Mayan calendar in a regular way. The number 8 is about modeling, integrity, and harmonization. It is the ability to hold a paradigm which one explores. And the number 8 also is very on the rules. It won't go off from that North Star of integrity. Shining example of whatever vocation it is one chooses. Thorough in research on anything it is interested in, and quickly becomes an expert in whatever it is focusing on. So this is a very powerful number, the galactic number, which seems to be regular this year, always coming up at important turning points. So yes, let's now go into the astrology. This was when the flare was culminating at 23:07 universal time. The moon here 4:46 Leo, pretty exactly between Pluto and the Venus-Mars conjunction, which, as I say, comes exact just 8 hours later. So this already shows you the perfect lining up here with the ascendant, the descendant. So this energy is about to manifest on this planet of a Scorpio rising. And when we look at the heliocentric moment of that event, Mercury is dead on the root of this chart. So it is again all about that perceptual breakthrough of realizing things we hadn't been able to see before. This is definitely the key theme here, over and over again. A lattice, the one which is able to integrate new information and improvise and really be very fast in putting things together here between Homia and Rhadamanthus. This is happening as we speak over the next weeks still, but definitely highlighted here in this flare. Homia, as you know, this is regeneration, rebirth. Rhadamanthus is the integrity of doing things exactly as they should be, very, very high standards. So all of that is becoming a big theme. So then, as you see, okay, let me say one more thing. So this flare erupted from this sunspot here, and that was 39 degrees off from the center. So if we go into the heliocentric chart, then we have, this is the Earth's position. Now you have to think of, you're looking from here towards here, this would be the sun, so east is on that side, and if you calculate 39 degrees backwards, you get to 24 Cancer. And what you have here is Astrea. This is the 5th largest asteroid, which is all about problem solving and getting to the center of an issue, of rolling one's sleeve back and getting actively involved, bringing that intelligence of higher vision and applying that knowledge. Very hands-on, very committed energy to resolve problems. So this has been targeted, and you won't believe, just yesterday Astrea from the geocentric point of view entered Cancer the second time. Yes, it was last year already in Cancer, had been going backwards by retrogression, and now has entered again. That's the second time, final time. So Astrea in Cancer, first of all, this is a powerful point in the zodiac. This is a shift of focus to what really matters. Always happens at the solstice point, 0 degrees. Cancer. This is the moment when a reorientation happens, really. Interesting. Now let me go to the next set of charts. So let me see, this is the Venus-Mars conjunction now. Tomorrow early morning. And this, now have a look here, this is where Venus and Mars meet at 6:57 in Aquarius. And if we go and look at Julian Assange's chart. Now, why do I bring up Julian Assange? Well, I guess it's pretty obvious. He has been big in the news. The Australian Parliament went really surprisingly. I wouldn't have expected that. Anonymously, they sent a resolution out to apply on towards the American and the British government to release Julian Assange. This is big, and as you know, the 20th and the 21st was this trial. Yes, we do not know how they decided, but let me tell you this: there is all possibility, there's actually quite a strong hint that Julian Assange might get his freedom back over the next few weeks. And I will show you this. I have a few charts here lined up which are all about that case, showing you what I found. So first of all, this is Julian Assange's chart, and you see why I'm showing you this chart. Venus and Mars by transit are meeting here exactly at his 4th house cusp, at his source point. So this is for himself, for Julian, a big renewal, rebirth of whatever it brings. That conjunction is square his moon, so this is super powerful. Interesting that Julian has Aspolus here at the head of the chart, at the helm. Aspolus, you know, that is the Sherlock Holmes energy, who really likes to shed light, bring in attention to the dark stuff, to all the problems, and has that investigative talent to dig up things. So I guess that's obvious. He is having in his birth chart a Scorpio rising with Arrokoth right here. Arrokoth, the one who can't see the full picture, the full scale of what's going on, putting all the pieces of the puzzle together naturally. If the moon in Scorpio also, he's very, very interested in the mysterious and the difficult, the intense, with Jupiter here too. That means he has definitely successful. Jupiter Neptune is all about kind of future oriented and visionary qualities in that sense, nailing that Neptunian energy down with that Saturn opposition. And naturally with Saturn in the 7th house, that also shows his big problem which he had been getting into, in getting that enormous pressure from the governments, from all those who are fearing of what he's revealed and wanting further to reveal. Now on that note, I want to just throw in one more thought. I was terribly disappointed by President Trump that he didn't set Julian Assange free. He had this presidential powers. He could have done that. This shows to me, this was maybe the strongest indication that yes, there's two sides in politics, but in the end we have to get beyond both of them. Government as such is a problem. We do not need government. We are sovereign citizens. All we need is a few people who organize things like the post office that this properly functions, or a big grocery store and chain like the distribution works through their headquarters of food. Kind of that organizational structure, yes, that is needed to keep a society running and in good shape. But aside from that, we do not need people who think they are governing us. Those we have to get rid of in total 100%. That was to me the clear sign that yes, in the end they all are afraid of someone like Julian, who is 100% committed to bring out the truth and nothing but the truth. He is a symbol of our times, and no wonder is his chart, his whole case highlighted at this point in time as Venus and Mars here meet at his 4th house cusp. So he is really the symbol of what this present time holds and what its promises are. We're definitely experiencing that final big squeeze, and it is happening on all levels now. Simultaneously, it seems there is an energy coming into the forefront from, again, channeled from all of us who hold that power from above and below, as I said before, bringing that pillar of light into manifestation, which will force change to come in, and that is where we are getting. Now it was super exciting. I did the midpoint chart. Well, let me first show you this quickly. This is the minor progressions of Julian. I found it super interesting that 20 degrees is now at the ascendant here in this minor progressions in his chart, and that is the degree which was here at the source point when Astrea entered Cancer, but also you see Astrea is here in his minor progressions conjunct that point, and Astrea, as I said before, is the one which is cleaning up a case and bringing in its expertise of how to deal with difficult situations. So this seems to be going on in his life. Interesting that this happens simultaneously with the transit Astrea entering Cancer again. But what really thrilled me is when I did the midpoint, and this is a method which I'm often using. This is goes back to Raoul Davison, an astronomer, the British astrologer who devised this technique of space-time midpoints to kind of get an idea of how a relationship works. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I do that often with transit charts, showing how someone experiences the present time from that kind of hinge where the two energies meet, where Julian meets with what is happening now. Interesting that Jupiter is at the helm here at the 10th house cusp, and 2110 Taurus. Now this is a super important degree. That is where Jupiter and Uranus will meet. Actually, I did look it up exactly. So on the 13th of March, when they meet heliocentrically, Jupiter and Uranus at 2225, and as seen from Earth, it will be at 2149 on the 21st of April. Just saying, this is heating up this degree, so this shows where it's going, and it is going towards this renewal. Interesting also that here the midpoint Chiron is opposing Julian's moon. You see here is Julian's chart too, if maybe you have seen that already, so I'll leave it here on the side so you can constantly compare what I'm showing here. But there is this really big alignment which shows that whatever the problem is, it will be x-rayed, it will be deeply looked at. So I then had a few more thoughts of how to bring light and kind of show where things go. Interesting that also in these midpoints Julian has a Venus-Mars conjunction too, and that is the midpoint between what happens now and what happened at the moment of birth. So this is another really interesting little snippet, and this 21st degree of Sagittarius naturally forms a sextile to that 20 degree where in 21st degree in Libra, which I just showed you before. So there's quite a bit going on here, and then okay, this is the Mars return coming up. You see, Julian has his Mars here at 2132 in Aquarius. So I just was curious. Now, I rarely speak about someone who is still alive, because I really respect privacy of people. However, Julian definitely is a special case. He has gained symbolic value for our planet's future. So I allowed myself to look a bit into his chart and share it. This is Julian's human design, and I want to stay here for a minute if you don't mind. I know you don't mind, some of you probably do, but it's always, I really like to go into depth. Anyway, it might get a little longer than I really wanted to be that, but that's how it goes. So he has this really powerful root in the earth with the emotional and the splenic, the body awareness in the now, both very strongly defined. He stands with both feet on the ground. And these central channels here, these are from the knowledge cycle, knowledge circuit, I should say. These are highly individualistic. This is the channel of provocation, you could say, of tickling and tackling a problem and finding out what's behind something. And this is the challenge of struggle. Interesting is 38 and 28. See, that's the Earth in the at birth, and also Mars in the design. So there is this strong Mars in his chart. Mars by birth, 38, I should say, that is opposition. Opposition, and 28 is where the moon is. That is the other end of that channel. That is greatness in excess. So there's an enormous pressure to deal with opposition. And then there's also this channel, which is charisma. That channel is called, which is here, gate 34, power of the great, which is that ability to make oneself heard and seen and manifest it immediately into the gate 20, which is, and these are all I Ching oracles. You can look them up if you have your book and read more about it. 20 is a contemplation. It's the ability to focus, to clearly see what's happening, and then use one's power to bring that into a manifestation, into a vocal sound, to express it, to show it to the world. This is his main voice, based on contemplation, on observation, naturally. So yes, you see he has a powerful chart here, and Mars is central. Yes, Mars 38 in the design chart, and then 49, which is revolution. This is where the Chinese New Year just started within this hexagram. 49, revolution. I mean, you couldn't say it's stronger. It is the energy which can really initiate something totally new, which has that intrinsic power. So Mars is a special planet in the in Julian's life, as it was close to its station when he was born. Actually, I looked it up. Mars is retrograde between his age of 8 years old till he is 68 years old. From 1979 till 2039, Mars is retrograde. He is a perfect example of that difficult experience people who have a retrograde Mars in their birth chart or by progression are going through. It is you could call it a karmic wound. However, I'm guessing that Julian has chosen to take on this role to become that front-line warrior who is all by himself challenging the most mightiest powers on this planet, and naturally had to pay the price for it. I wish him the best, that what my prediction is here will come true. Now this is the Mars return, and again you see his Mars at 2132 is perfectly square that degree I just mentioned, where Jupiter and Uranus will meet in March and April, and already are close by. So his Mars will be empowered, and by a square that is definitely giving him lots of new energy, and this is what this chart shows here, that return chart. This will be the kind of the birth chart for his next 2 years of Mars energy expressing itself with the Moon and Chiron and the North Node. Again, this shows that he is definitely a front runner, a symbol, an idol, a hero, and he will be definitely seen and honored and celebrated as that. Venus here, very, very beautiful in the first degree of Pisces, with all that Pisces energy. Then furthermore, I mean, there's so much going on in this chart. Look at this degree 2957, the very, very last moment of Sagittarius being that freedom fighter per excellence. And then the next chart I want to show you is this one. This is now again a mundane chart. This is the moment when heliocentric Jupiter and Uranus are having their conjunction, as you see at 22-25, and this is the same degree pretty much, just now in Capricorn, in that energy which brings things really down to earth, makes it happen. A very great energy for manifestation. Also, this is the direction this whole solar system is moving through our galaxy in space. If we put a vector to this, then this is it around 2 degrees Capricorn. That is the evolutionary direction we are going in as a whole. If we look at that same moment as seen from Earth's perspective, the Moon is between Jupiter and Uranus. I mean, this is really a new beginning, a rebirth period we are seeing in a big way, and Julian Assange seems to be really at the helm of all of that. You see, 709 is the midheaven here. Look at his Moon, 714. It all fits together like a hand in a glove. Sun and Hygeia conjunct. So this promises also a whole new perception of what health is, what well-being is. And naturally, Moon Jupiter as such is super expansive, abundant in Taurus. Taurus being one of the best signs for the Moon, the Lord of success, of manifesting abundance in this reality. All the new technologies coming in, for example, but much more than that. It seems this is a renewal of Gaia itself, so there might be some big shaking going on, some big earth changes coming our way. Well possible, as I hinted at already in my last recording. Be ready for big stuff in the next few months. Again, I say April the 22nd is kind of the center day of that phase. It will get calmer after the 1st of July. That first part of 2024 is definitely super dramatic. Then, okay, I show you here a few more charts just for fun because they are so telling. This is the midpoint chart, the Davison midpoint, November 1997, that is between 71 and 2024, the time-space midpoint, when the Sun and the Black Moon will have their perfect opposition on March the 7th. Again, you see that same axis, 21-35 Aquarius here. That is where Julian will be experiencing his personal energy and the one of that alignment coming into line with one another, with again Astrea. It shows his release will give him such a big voice, which then all of a sudden will make it clear to so many more people that he is on track. He is really the one who has said things years and years ago which nobody wanted to believe really. As I said, the whole disappointment I had with President Trump definitely is part of that insight many people will have. We have to go beyond politics. This is all to be left behind finally. He is the hero here. He is great. He deserves a great respect. So this is the event I'm talking about. When the Sun and the Black Moon are exactly in opposition to each other. Here you see it, the Sun at 1721 and the Black Moon here at 1721, aligned with Earth naturally. What stood out in this chart, that's why I wanted to show it to you, is the Moon's position at the time, 618 Aquarius. That is the same degree where in a few hours Venus and Mars will meet. So this is doubling down on that power that Venus-Mars renewal cycle has. Interesting too that here Mars at the time will be 1755. That is perfectly T-squaring Julian's ascendant-descendant axis, bringing Mars here between his north node and his personal Mars. This is the midpoint chart for between Julian Assange and the heliocentric Jupiter-Uranus alignment of March the 14th. I found this super promising. Again, Moon Uranus conjunction. And again, you see this is very, very close to his source point, where he draws the energy up from Earth, where he is nourished. Again, where just in a few hours Venus and Mars will meet just 1 degree away. It's just too much going on, which all points in the same direction. This I found super interesting too, the Sun here in the midpoints opposing Sedna most exactly. So this, I would say, is kind of an end point of a long struggle he comes out of. Interesting is that the Sun is separating from the opposition, Earth is separating from the conjunction. This is kind of the turning point, you could say. So expect news anytime starting at the end of the month of February. Actually, this is his lunar return of February the 29th, when the moon will be exactly at 7:14, where it is in his birth chart. What I found super interesting in this one is this triple conjunction of Sun, Mercury and Saturn, and this actually is a big day upcoming. This will be the superior Sun-Mercury conjunction, which happens every 4 months, which is always at the peak of the cycle, at the opposite point of its retrogression. And I already hinted at this would be a powerful moment. February the 28th, here it is. No, I don't show it here. I didn't. I guess I'm running out of space here, but I just want to show you once more, because this is really noteworthy. Let me see. It is okay. 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 I guess I promised you too much. I wanted to show it to you now. So that is the... Here it is. The superior conjunction. You see, has this moon at 2049 in Libra. You remember that degree? We had that when the today's Australia Cancer Ingress, and that very same degree and minute, even to the minute, I'm talking of 2049, that is on the last day of February, when the Sun and Mercury will be exactly aligned. Here you see it, 9:14. And a few hours later, Sun and Saturn have their exact conjunction, and then this degree will be at the ascendant, again doubling down on that same energy which has been activated actually today with that X1.8 flare. Let's just go once more here to the lunar return, and then the one which I'm ending here, this compilation of charts. I found this really kind of putting the last cornerstone into the building. This is the midpoint of Julian's and that superior Mercury conjunction with the Sun. I do like this a lot. The moon just entered Scorpio and conjunct the source point in the first degree of Scorpio. Aspulus is here too again. You remember Aspulus, the one which Julian has at the 10th house cusp. And the Sun Chiron conjunction, pretty dead on exact where Julian has his moon. Let me show you this once more here too, and this is his chart once more, 714. So I hope you had some excitement here with my explanations, and thank you for being here and listening and spreading the good news. Yes, something new is in the air. A scent of rebirth, as I put it. Thank you so much, and have a lovely, lovely time. Enjoy the intensity. It's once in a lifetime what we are experiencing. It never will come back, so better enjoy it while it lasts. It's like a good movie. You're sitting in the theater at the edge of your seat. You're having a hard time really keeping your eyes open because it's so intense. That's about where we are. Thank you. Take care. Talk to you soon.